They called him the Great White Hope. The legendary Tommy Morrison earned the love of millions with his lightning-fast speed.
Now, but he was really rocking with that.
Unstoppable power.
Simple. Oh, man. I was just going to say, it's simple. He hits you with the left hook, you're gone.
And savage combinations.
Joe Hip is in trouble. Joe Hip is down.
On his path to glory, the Duke faced all kinds of opponents. Sneaky rats, massive giants, and real monsters in gloves. And Tommy Morrison never feared a single one of them in the ring.
Well, there it is. That's it.
Get ready as we take you through the legendary career of the Great White Hope. This is the Boxing Lab. Let's go. The first rat in Morrison's path was a flabby heavyweight from Gary, Indiana, Kimu Odum. This cocky scoundrel had the audacity to run his mouth about the Duke, thinking his fast talk could intimidate the Great White Hope.
So I'm gonna go in there and knock him out. I'm gonna throw the uppercut, I'm gonna throw the right hand, I'm just gonna bombs away. It's kind of hard for a fighter to even come back from a beating like he took from Ray Mercer. So I'm just gonna make it a flashback for him.
But when the Duke stepped into the ring, the cocky rat quickly discovered he was face to face with a real predator. From the opening bell, Morrison began the process of exterminating this particularly annoying pest.
Was ultimately knocked out.
Kept Morrison off of it that time.
Morrison moved in for the kill, his fists doing the talking that Odum's mouth had failed to back up.
So was Tommy Morrison. Under his left eye, on the cheek. And there's another.
Odum's pathetic defense couldn't save him from Morrison's relentless assault.
Quickness in his hands. He throws those punches fast. I'm not exactly guard though.
That's the way you draw it up.
I mean, he's been hurt by what Morrison has thrown. You can see he's counter.
Just a classic counter left. Came behind an upper. He's got a great respect for Morrison's power, as well he should.
The Duke made it clear, disrespect him at your own peril. The second chapter of our story takes us to 1995, when at the forefront of the most fearsome heavyweight scalp collectors was David Ruddock, better known as Razor.
Legs it off. Went down to the second string. Dumps it down. And he may be out.
But one day, the fearsome star of the ring showed his dark side. After the bell, he treacherously attacked his defenseless opponent. Next, with a sense of complete impunity, as he continued to climb the peak of the boxing Olympus, he arrogantly decided that he would easily destroy Tommy Morrison. And so, in 1995, the titans of the ring clashed in a fierce battle.
Gave Mike Tyson 2 difficult bouts. Kind of a major fight several years ago was against Lennox Lewis.
Become very cautious so they don't open up, but
Nice jab by Morrison.
From the very beginning, Razor shocked everyone using his blades to tear into the legendary opponent.
I was going to remind people of the nice uppercut by Ruddock. Oh, there goes Morrison!
But the Duke activated Berserk mode, unleashing his iron will and refusing to be denied by the dirty scoundrel.
and it wasn't in a situation that Morrison had left himself in.
The hook blocked by Morrison. Ruddock has done a nice defensive job. Good combination.
But he still paid for it.
Oh, he hurt Ruddock with a right uppercut. Razor Ruddock got rocked by the same punch that knocked Morrison, knocking him out. It's the only reason why I was critical. So in round two, it's Morrison's turn to hurt Ruddock. With the hand speed. Oh, big hook by Ruddock, and he lands an uppercut. He's hurt early and put out, and Morrison has been around. I now say, folks, who's going to get tired? Because both men are showing some signs of it here.
And they also said establish yourself down low with Razor Ruddock and then go to the body as he does there. Now, a moment ago, Ruddock had Tommy Morrison right in front of him and did not fire the uppercut. Now, Razor Ruddock and then go to the body as he does there.
Morrison absorbed tremendous punishment, but kept coming forward like a man possessed.
The left hook. Razor Ruddock is hurt now. Good body combinations by Morrison, but Ruddock is talking to him. He did against George Foreman, but oh my, he took a big left hook in the last round or two. Now he is forcing Morrison back. That uppercut may have stunned Morrison.
Tommy Morrison got hurt by...
It ain't over yet. Morrison is not there as it was earlier.
Ruddock really taking advantage of the left eye. It doesn't look like it.
There's the Morrison that
Desperate that they would get the decision or that the fight will go all the way.
But Ruddock landing some big shots here in this round.
In the end, Morrison brutally punished the scoundrel and took his soul.
By Ruddock, and it may have hurt Morrison. Big left hook! Down goes Razor Ruddock!
He needs to buy about 10 more seconds, and it's a long one. He will not do it.
Oh my, it's over.
The winner and new IBC heavyweight champion, Tommy the Duke Wilson.
In May 1992, a towering 6 feet 5 inches showboater appeared on Morrison's horizon, who could literally be called a fool. Art Tucker was a dumb journeyman who allowed himself to insult and humiliate the Duke in public.
Well, Tommy Morrison is Tommy Morrison. It's not, you can't change. You can't change his style. He got to come at you. He got to throw a left hook. He got to duck them jabs and right hands. And, you know, in my attention, when he ducked, every time he ducked, he run into something.
Morrison, filled with rage, eagerly awaited the day when his fists would finally silence the loudmouth, so he could personally beat every ounce of arrogance out of Tucker with his own hands.
Game face on, huh?
From the very beginning of the fight, Morrison decided to remind everyone of his title as the most devastating puncher in the heavyweight division.
Mentally coming to the point where that's where I am. This is going to want to use. See, look when Morrison jabs his way. What a left hand.
And only after that did the cocky fool realize that he was face to face with a real predator.
Rudy Valin reacted well that time. And you can hear Tommy Vergette's telling him, go in the head.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. Being a little conservative to that side until he slows him down a little bit.
Well, there's a left hand, and that puts Tucker. Tommy will let you go back to work.
Tommy, use your 7.
Well, it's simple. Oh, man. I was just going to say, it's simple. He hits you with the left hook, you're gone. Most heavyweights are going to go. Our Tucker goes.
Tommy the Duke Morrison.
In September 1989, Morrison found himself in the crosshairs of Rick Enis, a journeyman who had committed the ultimate sin against the Morrison clan. He had publicly humiliated Tommy's older brother Tim in the ring, claiming he was ready to easily destroy the entire Morrison bloodline.
You will with the Denver Broncos, the National Football League. Now a fighter in his...
From the opening bell, Morrison entered the ring with murder in his eyes.
Right hand, which I think would be a... Oh, he's hurt already by the hook.
Or his left hook. Down goes Enis.
The Duke was sending a message to anyone who dared disrespect his bloodline.
Well, I didn't even have a chance to say it when we spoke with Rick Enis this morning. He said, I got to stay away from that left hook.
And he immediately got...
Morrison turned Enis's mouth into a crime scene, leaving his opponent needing a dentist more than a doctor.
Legs back under him now, but he was really rocked with the left hook. And there's an uppercut, and that's probably going to be it. 6. And Mills Lane will let it go.
One more knockout and it's over. That's it.
Justice had been served. Nobody puts hands on a Morrison without paying the ultimate price. Just 2 weeks after Morrison's triumphant revenge against Rick Enis, another scoundrel dared to disrupt the Duke's well-deserved rest. David Jako, a foolish journeyman from Toledo, made the ultimate mistake of dragging Morrison away from his holiday, with the Duke taking the fight on poolside notice.
Losses, but of his 21 wins, 18 of them have been by knockouts, so you know that he's got some power.
Yeah, and
Morrison, filled with rage at having his personal time stolen, decided he would make this interruption as brief and violent as possible.
been in real hard training for Morrison. He's a lefty, and you now have to face a right-hander.
There's the left hand. Jako's down and probably out. What a huge shot.
Morrison had sent a clear message: disturb the Duke's peace at your own peril. In August 1993, a drunken fool appeared on Morrison's horizon who could literally be called a circus act.
Hello, everybody from Green Bay. I love you, Mom and Dad, and everybody, eh? All right.
Do you want to fight Tommy Morrison? And I've been through this many times, so I go, jeepers, I don't want to, fight him. It's not going to come through.
Yeah.
Tim Doughboy Tomashek was a nobody who allowed himself to stumble into a world title fight when Mike Williams cowardly abandoned Morrison just 90 minutes before the bell. Morrison, consumed by fury at having his championship defense turned into a mockery, vowed to make this drunken spectacle pay the ultimate price for wasting his valuable time.
In a bout schedule to go 12 rounds, we'll certainly go much less.
From the start, this drunken warehouse worker played the role of court jester.
Tomashek with footwork, dances around, tries to score, and Tommy Morrison is not impressed. If fortunate that a big left hand, Tommy Morrison did not connect. Tommy, now he's better with combinations, then setting up on defense, then coming back on the attack. A complete fight with Tomashek does not hold, but takes a left-handed in Morrison's camp and look forward to a bout with Mike Williams, who they consider to be close in style. To benefit that match set for March. Right. Where it was essential for the managers to get information, and Tom's team ever since, joined by Bill.
But this crafty scoundrel decided to resort to an unworthy tactic and turned the fight into a cuddle party, angering the Duke even more.
Clearly enjoying this opportunity. He knows what the outcome will be, yet would be able to put him away. Morrison in terrific shape, 226. Tommy Morrison before the fight, the past 4 days, his training has been outstanding. Gotten better work in sparring in preparation for this fight. Heavyweight title defense, and Tommy Morrison with it. Yet if one lands, the end will be here. Tomashek, who physically is not impressive, corner is silent. Doug Dragon, John Brown, as the second round nears an end. And Tomashek, as Tommy Morrison has pecked away through the first 2 rounds. In the tech, early 3rd round, and Morrison goes to the head again. Tomashek, defending nice, in good position. Inside.
But Morrison didn't put up with such circus antics, and eventually began to find his range against the elusive jester.
He and trainer Doug Dragon. Stop! One more time, okay? Has remained silent throughout this fight. He went 9 rounds with Joe Hip in the title win over George Foreman as he played basically hit him on the score, then back away, get away quickly. There's like the other rounds. Tommy's corner people remain silent. There is no instruction. Break at it. Tommy with a good combination. In trouble. Inside a minute to go. Round that fight in Las Vegas, Nevada. And Tommy scores with the left hand. And he scores with the left hand. And Tommy gives him a look, brings them back together, and Tommy. But he will, and that's it. Tomashek's corner has waved it off.
After the fight, Morrison's fury shone as the clown had made a mockery of his world championship defense. In the summer of 1992, Tommy Morrison decided to settle the score with Joe the Boss Hip, a dangerous southpaw who had committed the ultimate sin, disrespecting Morrison's Native American heritage, claiming to be the only true warrior in the ring. This arrogant fool had dared to question the Duke's bloodline and warrior spirit. What followed was absolute warfare between 2 warriors who refused to back down.
These are 2 fighters that predominantly like to fight straight ahead.
Morrison started strong, landing sharp power shots and clearly winning the early rounds.
Might work for him at the lower levels of boxing, well, not at the top. There's the hook, she on the right eye, which is real dangerous because that fell into a right to the body there. He came inside.
Tommy Morrison Morrison under control and very measured here. Joe Hip is already Virginia Military Institute at a lower altitude. Good work inside.
To the loss. I mean, do you learn from it? You get better. Good left and a right.
In this round, we're going to take a station break. Obviously, winners on the scorecard for Morrison.
That's right. I think that's exactly right.
But then, Hip fought back and shattered Morrison's jaw in the fourth.
And now you have to have questions about Tommy Morrison's step.
Oh,
He's hurt.
another left hand by Hip.
And he responded
in his eyes.
And a big cut on the right eye of...
The broken jaw only fueled Morrison's rage even more. Now it was personal, and the Duke was more dangerous than ever.
More important than the cut was how vulnerable in Joe Hip, who really, as big as he is not, and he's really kind of an arm puncher.
Oh, great uppercut by Morrison.
And the first one we've seen.
Oh, and a right to the chin puts Joe Hip down. And by Morrison.
From a man who's supposed to be a
right hand
mouth.
Yep, Hip bleeding from the mouth. Oh, and Tommy Morrison, a double right hand. And Joe Hip better protect himself. Oh, and
Morrison dug deep into his warrior soul and found something primal.
oh, and another good combination and a retaliation by Morrison.
Of 6.
He stemmed that flow of blood.
It appears the problem.
Oh, and to give you an illustration.
Good uppercut by...
In the end, Morrison brutally destroyed the disrespectful challenger with a devastating combination.
Now gets cut. You can't fight with your mouth open. Oh, a good right hand by Morrison, and that hurts Joe Hip. Joe Hip is in trouble. Joe Hip is down. A right hand from Tommy Morrison staggers Joe Hip.
Hey.
Morrison had shown that disrespecting his heritage would cost you everything. Next on the hit list stood Carl "The Truth" Williams, standing between Morrison and a shot at heavyweight gold. The former world title challenger carried enough power to end any man's night and wasn't about to let some young upstart steal his thunder on HBO's biggest stage.
If I was in Morrison's corner, they'd be down by his navel where they belong.
Morrison wasted no time sending a message. A signature left hook dropped Williams in just 30 seconds.
Don't do that again. And there's the left hook, and down goes Carl Williams. He came over the top with it, and that wasn't even before he throws it. Morrison trying to split.
But Williams didn't become the truth by staying down.
Right hand by Williams is solid to eat a tin can. So maybe Morrison should take 10 years off. Left hook again by Morrison, backs Williams up.
And as he figures the fight along.
And another left hand, and down goes Williams. Morrison trying to finish with the uppercut, comes back with the left hook. Now Williams with the 1-2.
Williams probably in the last 2 years.
Yes, right hand by Morrison. Williams. Right hand by Williams. Morrison answers with the right.
Right, if he comes out of this fight and wins this fight side to side, he's moving one way.
It lacked power when it landed.
His mouth is wide open now, Jim, and it's early in the fight. There's that right hand. Larry, I have the fight scored exactly the same as you.
Williams answered with a bomb of his own, proving that even the Duke could be hurt.
He has an inspiration he never had before.
And John Davenport has done some job with Paul to have punched himself out a little bit, Gil. Yes, again, this fight could go up and down, up and down.
And it was a rocky fifth very much. You saw me and raised me, Jim.
Has Tommy Morrison already run out of gas?
Is it also a signal to your opponent, Gil?
Round number 6. Left hook and a left hook.
2 right hands by Williams.
West right hand because you won't throw your 7.
I don't think that's a good way to train a fighter, to tell you the truth. A beautiful 1-2. There's that left hook. And Morrison wobbled. Morrison is hurting.
But as the fight progressed, the desperate veteran began resorting to dirty tactics. Low blows, holding, and rabbit punches that infuriated Morrison even more.
He got a second wind. He looks a little bit livelier right now than he had in the previous 2 rounds.
He was down in the 1st and 3rd rounds. Williams knocked Morrison down twice in the 5th round.
An unintentional fight. An unintentional fight. Okay, here we go.
Morrison, consumed with rage at Williams' cowardly tactics, roared back with the fury of a wounded animal.
And now Carl's a little wobbly, and there's another left hook, and Morrison's got a chance to finish him off. Bang! Carl Williams is in trouble.
And Williams is looking for the referee to stop the fight. He doesn't know where he is. Williams is already busted up, and Mills Lane has stopped the fight.
Oh, victory, Tommy the Duke Morrison.
In the end, Morrison brutally finished the desperate Williams.
No matter who he fights, where he fights him, always has a chance to get you out of there.
And the crowd stands and cheers for both fighters. And Carl Williams sits down in Tommy Morrison's corner.
He was sending a message to Mills Lane to stop the fight. Mills Lane got it a couple of punches later.
The truth had learned that trying to cheat the Duke would only make him more dangerous. Next up was Marcelus Brown, a fighter who had the audacity to believe he could handle the Duke. Brown, trained by the legendary Mayweather family, thought his pedigree and connections made him untouchable. At 7 feet, the towering challenger underestimated what Morrison brought to the ring, thinking his elite training camp would be enough to outclass the Duke.
Marcelus Brown. It is a very wanted it as small as possible for Morrison.
And yes, I party hard, but it's a new Tommy Morrison.
From the opening moments, Morrison imposed his will on the overconfident Brown.
Well, from the talk about it, he wants a man by the name of Mike Tyson to know that he exists and where he lives, because everybody, these heavyweights are all lining up.
The plot is thickening here in Muskogee, Oklahoma. We'll come back and look at that. Tommy Morrison, closest to you, comes over the right eye, which is trainer John Brown worked on.
Brown quickly realized he wasn't dealing with just another opponent.
Punches of the 14 punches that he threw was jabs. He's walking in. Looks like he's loading up.
Really caused problems. Nice right hand by him.
There he jabbed the right hand behind it. Bad spot for Brown.
26, who is, oh, good. Folks.
That was a very slow right hand that he threw.
Juncture, it's pretty early to start taking points away.
Then, Morrison unleashed the weapon that had sent so many cocky rats to the canvas before.
Marcelus is carrying his right hand.
Brown very active, but goes down for the left hook. So with a lot of time left in round 3, Marcelus Brown has gone down and now must try and survive.
Those power punches are really starting to bother Mark.
There's the little uppercut. This is Tommy Morrison.
Marcelus Brown is, and he's going to get nailed over and over. I think the end is just about upon us.
And there's the hook, as Randy pointed out, over the lazy right hand.
Brown joined the long list of fighters who learned the hard way. Disrespect the Duke, and you pay the price.
Here's how he did it.
Watch where the right hand of Brown is. It's down by his chest. He gets nailed with that one mighty left hook shot. That was the first knockdown, a stiff left hand. Down he went, and that basically took much of the fight out of him.
The next cocky rat to step into Morrison's path was Terry Anderson, another fool who believed he could make a name for himself by taking down the Duke.
I'm here to win. I'm in it to win it now. Before, I was just messing around. Now I'm here. I'm back.
Anderson ran his mouth, convinced that Morrison's recent wars had left him vulnerable and ready to be picked apart.
It is a very, very small ring.
Field advantage. It's a home ring.
From the opening bell, Anderson tried to back up his trash talk.
You tend to think he could be older, but he started very good. Style has always been to come in, try and land.
How when he wants to follow through, he wants to be, not to doesn't plan right, move right after.
Anderson fighting a little bit like Ross Purdy did. Oh, he just got, I'm just guessing Kevin's a Republican. I don't know why, I'm just thinking, less governance, less everything.
Less counting.
Yeah. Anderson joined the hook, getting George Foreman found that out.
Anderson and step inside the shot. There's
hooked by Anderson, and Morrison comes back, but Morrison gets whacked fighting in front of his. Good right to the body by Morrison.
And what has made Tommy Morrison exciting has been his heart. There you have the numerical edge, big right hand.
He got hit with a big right, Tommy Morrison. He whacked Terry Anderson on the break.
Joe Hip, he came back and won that fight.
More as a boxer was against George Foreman, and of course he won. But in Terry Anderson's mind, he
throw off somebody's pay-per-view big pay. You put yourself into something bigger.
shots earlier. He's doing a lot of the work inside against Terry Anderson.
Lean back a little bit, get his left hook going. Anderson warming to this, though.
Good hook by Terry.
His hands when he's doing that.
Good hook by
caught Tommy Morrison even a little more flush than that.
But Anderson quickly realized his trash talk had written checks his fists couldn't cash.
No, but the knees wobbled.
Good right again by Morrison. Now he is teeing off, and there goes Terry Anderson.
He wants to.
Now Morrison's on the inside.
He should be outside bombing here.
Finally it's in, and here comes Terry Anderson back again. Good hook by Anderson. Something up to land a good shot. Nice right by Morrison. Nice combination by Morrison. Anderson coming back with some left hooks. He had Morrison hurt in round 3. He might have momentarily, but he's the one that went.
Of 101 punches thrown in that round. With jabs.
They both land. Sharon.
He was not backed off the mark. A nice right hand by Morrison. Well, you put the knockdown in to set up the bullying aspect for their uppercut. Trying to push the other fighter off to set up.
Morrison doing some holding on the inside. Body schedule for 10, our boxing special. Al Bernstein, like Tommy forgets, told him go out and jab a little bit. And he's thrown only now about 1 or 2 in this round.
That was a key flex because it was a pre-fight plan.
Good hook by Anderson, and he just missed with another hook. A right hand. Good hook by Anderson. Morrison with his own hook. To say about it right now.
He certainly did in round 4. He took round 5 off. Now he's coming back with more fire here in round 6. And losing a round. He can move on the angles and set himself up. Anderson would like to be and make it a 50-50 type of a fight.
Not covering up.
He wants to fire at him there, though.
Good work to the body by Anderson. Was supposedly guilty of a low blow, and Kevin Champion said one more, and I'm going to take a point. Good short right by Anderson. Good hook there by Morrison. But since the 3rd round, nothing has come close to hurting Terry. Big hook by Anderson. Right hand by Morrison. No mistake about it. Come back for round 7. Al Bernstein along with Dave Bontempo.
Then Morrison delivered the lesson Anderson would never forget.
He had a tooth problem. Maybe he was smart.
He scratched in the card because of that.
For that very close.
Big body shot.
Morrison drove his signature weapon into Anderson's body, collapsing him like a demolished building.
Judges out of play in a hurry. Right after you flash the scorecard, Tommy Morrison makes all the scores obsolete. Jabs his way in here. That's what the difference is, and then lands it with the left hook.
That is hit.
In April 1991, Morrison met a towering giant from behind the Iron Curtain named Yuri Valin, standing at 6 feet 4 inches. This Soviet-bred fighter brought the technical precision and disciplined footwork that made Eastern Bloc fighters so dangerous in the ring.
He's one of the few of the Soviet fighters that are...
From the opening bell, the Russian giant used his polished technique and size advantage to give Morrison serious problems.
Morrison had told us, you see him dipping down, he wants to... And Morrison doing some damage with both hands. Round, and the final seconds of this first round of the heavyweight fight, round 2.
And of course, he only threw 12 jabs. There goes that left hand that they were asking for, and he's landing it. Look puffy already, and it's only been a round and a half. They might have been putting the...
Left from Morrison. Little blood around the mouth of Morrison.
It's killer instincts here. Tommy Gallagher said he had a hard time. Look at that, putting a 3-punch combination.
Valin's slick movement and technical boxing made Morrison work harder than expected, as the towering Soviet refused to make it easy.
His sparring partner, Jerry Jones. Oh!
And Valin landing. He staggered Morrison.
He's got to stick to his game plan here, but he's landing from the outside. Why quit there?
He lands again with a left. Valin putting on a show in the third round. And Mark paying the price.
If he doesn't do something to turn this tide in this fight. And, well, he came right back with his own 2 punches. But
A left caught Valin. Referee Steve Smoger telling Tommy Morrison to punch his way out of there.
It would definitely be taking the legs away from Valin. Spending a lot of energy in this first 4 round. Oh, dynamite.
Valin with another fine combination.
But in the 5th round, Morrison found the opening he'd been hunting for.
And now Morrison on the attack. But for the first time, he stunned Valin.
Well, just like I said, he was still dangerous, and he's got him rocked. Let me tell you, and Gallagher was worried about that. Dynamite uppercut.
And the crowd through the first 4, and Morrison still tied with a big left hand. And Valin's hurt.
Body shot.
The Soviet giant hit the canvas, but Morrison wasn't finished teaching this lesson.
And Valin hurt again.
Turned his back. That's got to be it. A fighter turns his back. I can't believe that Smoger.
That's it.
2 knockdowns later, the referee had seen enough, and another towering giant learned that size means nothing against the Duke's power. 19-year-old Tommy Morrison stepped into his 3rd professional fight against Joe Adams, a fighter who thought he could test the young prospect from Arkansas. But Adams quickly learned that Morrison didn't believe in warm-up rounds. Adams went down like a sack of potatoes, and the Duke was open for business. Just 5 days later, Morrison was back, and poor Elvin Evans walked straight into the biggest hype train in the Midwest.
As good as I've seen in the Midwest, if not the whole entire world.
Morrison unleashed his trademark thunder.
Impresses the Detroit fan.
Evans joined Adams on the canvas, and Morrison's reputation as a first-round executioner was rapidly taking shape. Morrison's next victim was Mike Foley, who would have been better off staying home that night. The boxing world was starting to take notice of this young destroyer. Alan Jamison stepped up next, convinced that his boxing skills could outmaneuver Morrison's raw power, but he quickly discovered that technical ability means nothing against pure dynamite. A Morrison right hand sent Jamison sprawling across the canvas like a starfish washed up on shore. In just 2 months, Morrison had fought 6 times and knocked 4 of them out in the first round. Undefeated Mike McGrady entered the ring next, another hopeful who believed he could be the man to solve the Tommy Morrison puzzle.
Lorenzo Boyd, that was 1 minute into the first round. Boyd, it should be pointed out, for what it's worth,
But McGrady quickly learned that some puzzles don't have solutions.
Gone against Morrison has been the 4th round.
Whoa, there he goes.
And this, and early.
Irish McGrady got up and looked at the wrong corner for advice. Stay down.
Well, McGrady has not fought in over a year. He is and appears to be headed for an early departure.
He doesn't have to worry about defense here. McGrady is purely on the survival course here.
Combination to...
Hey! And also we have the standing 8 so that any combination thereof, and he's gone. There he is, gone. That's the first round. 3 knockouts is all there is.
Morrison's left hook had become the great equalizer. It didn't matter what your record was before you stepped in with the Duke. Fresh off his vacation revenge knockout, Morrison faced Harry Terrell, a fighter who thought he could expose the Duke as nothing more than manufactured hype.
The elusive boxer wants to stick and run against the powerful Morrison. He said he's never fought anybody like that would stick and run and get in trouble like that. It's been the movie star just within the last couple of weeks.
However, from the first bell, Morrison turned Terrell into a human punching bag.
Protecting himself or trying to against the ropes.
And this is where Harry Terrell does not want to be.
Each punch landed with the precision of a surgeon and the power of a sledgehammer. A clubbing left hook sent Terrell crashing to the canvas, but Morrison wasn't finished with his masterpiece.
This first round, he's got 43 seconds to do it.
Again, Morrison looking for the uppercut. He used it effectively. He's also getting blocked by that Morrison left hand. But you know what? Harry Terrell has reddened the nose of Morrison. He's landing some punches, but
The final combination left Terrell hanging on the ropes like a puppet with cut strings.
Curry at 227 pounds. Big right hand. If he gets up, I'll be the most surprised person in the Coliseum.
This fight should be over. Now Munoz should stop this fight.
Charles Hostetter stepped up next, not realizing he was about to become Morrison's final first-round victim before the Duke could legally celebrate his knockouts with an alcoholic drink. At just 20 years old, Morrison was already proving that some talents don't need time to mature. Morrison's fists worked like precision demolition tools.
Charlie Hostetter becomes another first-round knockout victim of Tommy Morrison.
Morrison had delivered his last knockout before legal drinking age, though the celebrations that awaited would prove to be just as destructive as his left hook. In November 1990, Morrison faced Mike Acy, a West Virginia heavyweight with 12 knockouts on his record, who believed his power could match Morrison's devastating left hand.
Yeah, it could be back again. Mike Acy unable to really train like he wanted for this fight.
But Acy quickly discovered that having knockout power and surviving Tommy Morrison were two completely different conversations.
There's the left hand by Morrison. Drove Acy backward.
And if, for those of you that have seen Tommy Morrison fight in the ESPN, he has a wicked left hook. And he's a good, this is literally a tune-up for him. But they didn't exactly give him a world. We'll see.
Down to one knee from a right hand.
Go get a snap. Or you should, whichever.
That's true.
Well, his punches. He's not laying down. He's landing. Oh, my. That should be it. One more and it's over. And I'd be, if I was a betting man, I'd say yes. There it goes.
So much for that.
Morrison had delivered another masterclass in first-round devastation before heading into his biggest test yet. In January 1991, the Duke faced James "Quick" Tillis, a man who held a distinction that terrified heavyweight contenders worldwide. He was the first and only man to go the full distance with Iron Mike Tyson in his prime. This was a chance for Morrison to prove he was as destructive as Iron Mike himself.
You're such a cynic. And we are set to go. And I think Tommy.
But Morrison didn't care about reputations, only body counts.
It's gotten better and better as he's moved ahead in the pro, and there you see it against the...
Still trying to really to get himself back in. Good left hand, down goes Tillis.
I guess he does.
Also, and incidentally, that was set up by a body shot.
Tillis tried to use his veteran savvy, but experience means nothing against raw thunder.
And a good combination again by Morrison. A left and a right behind it. An uppercut, and down goes Tillis. Very impressive. 3, 4. Ain't going to take much, folks. Another left hand. I'll tell you what I like about Morrison here tonight is that he's been very patient.
It's a very good effort by Morrison, even if we're wondering if Tillis is... Well, there it is.
That's it.
A perfect left hook sent Tillis into the shadow realm, and Morrison followed up with a barrage that left the veteran's consciousness floating somewhere between Earth and eternity. The boxing world was starting to think there was a new sheriff in town. Next on the hit list stood Pinkland Thomas, a former heavyweight champion who had shared rings with legends and wasn't intimidated by some upstart from the backwoods.
His 5th defeat in his last 6, and very noticeable. Ended very quickly in the first round. That was the biggest name he has faced. And some big foes, and there's that wicked punch.
From the very start, Thomas went into the role of a heavy bag with legs.
First round, and these two men are fighting in a 16.5-foot ring. There's no place for Thomas.
A good puncher, but he can't fight. Well, Mike Tyson heard the same thing.
He's landed. He is stunned. He's rocked.
Morrison dictated the pace, breaking down the former champion piece by piece.
Take this fight as if it were his last, and it should be. Surprise right here is that Thomas has survived the first round. It is over. Pinkland Thomas will not come out for the second round. And for Tommy Morrison, this question of whether he was talking about just tonight's fight.
After the fight, Thomas claimed Morrison hit harder than Tyson, a statement that shook the boxing world. In June 1991, Morrison faced Mexican heavyweight Ladislao Mijangos, a battle-tested veteran who had shared the ring with legends like George Foreman and survived to tell the tale.
Ladislao Mijangos.
But Mijangos quickly discovered that surviving past legends and surviving present-day destroyers were completely different challenges entirely.
So far, 1 for 1.
It's about in which Tommy Morrison wants to get in the ring, get out, if you will, quickly.
Morrison unleashed his trademark violence with surgical precision.
Doesn't make this one any better, but we have had a lot of them.
Tommy just wanted the in-the-ring exposure, and of course he's a heavy-handed puncher, and down for a second time.
Morrison can pretty much just walk in and throw that hook, and he does have a devastating left hook.
Well, that's it.
Mijangos was demolished in the first round, and Morrison had now compiled a perfect record of 28 wins and 0 losses, with an absolutely devastating 24 knockouts. In the winter of 1992, fresh off his brutal war with Joe Hip, where Morrison fought 9 rounds with a broken jaw, Marshall Tilman stepped into the ring, believing the injured Duke might be vulnerable.
24 of his 29 wins, make it 23. Have been in the first 2 rounds.
But Tilman had picked the wrong night to test Morrison's resolve.
Big comparisons with how quickly Morrison...
Soft in the upper body. Good right hand by Morrison.
And 1 loss. Whenever he faces a second echelon heavyweight like Tilman, Morrison...
Get within range, and there's that first strong left hook landing. Morrison.
Tilman cannot
be... Good left to the body, crumples.
Morrison's body shots folded Tilman in half like a broken accordion.
Tilman ready to continue. Good left hook again by Morrison. Tilman is hurt one more time. On wobbling legs, he fights back. Another left to the body. Tilman staggers across the ring.
Tommy the Duke Morrison.
In November 1996, Morrison stepped into a ring in Japan against Marcus Road in one of his final fights. Banned from boxing in America after testing positive for HIV, This was Morrison's controversial farewell.
Fought in a year, has been training only for about a month, that he could be sharp. That would be it. After that, would have to fight on his quickly. He says, I have only one way to fight.
But Morrison proved that controversy couldn't kill his devastating power.
Again, and he says he is looking to unleash it at somebody.
Oh, well, he didn't need to go downstairs with that shot.
Going downstairs is Marcus Rody, who has just one defeat in heavyweight, and he was stopped in the fourth. Morrison going for it, and I think...
Then, Tommy decided to see off his career in true Tommy Morrison fashion.
That's the work of Keith Haring, who's New York subway, and the t-shirt is the body fighting. With what Tommy Morrison is going through, this fight is over. And Garza is donating his purse as his...
In 1989, Tommy Morrison came face to face with a daunting challenge known as Jesse Shelby. Shelby had caused upsets throughout his career and thought he could outbox and outmaneuver the rising star.
And a dangerous situation to be in, self-managed.
Bouts, beginning at the age of 13, when he conned his way into a fight with his strange manager, and Morrison working over his man on the ropes here, getting the best of it.
From the opening bell, Morrison came forward like a freight train with bad intentions.
Not throwing much here. Morrison working to the body, then trying to go upstairs as he does here. His last outing, he worked effectively to the body.
Shelby tried to box and move, but you can't outrun a hurricane when it's hunting you down.
Fought a southpaw as a profession. He did as an amateur. Incidentally, as an amateur, he lost in the Olympic trials. A big right hand followed up on the left by Morrison, and Shelby is in a seated position and may not make it up.
Shelby was going to have to talk Cappuccino into letting this go on.
Friends, in this video, we've taken you through the devastating knockout career of Tommy the Duke Morrison. Drop a comment and let us know what you'd like to see next on our channel. Don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe.